Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Divine Rahasyas. Today we are going to be talking about Balarama and Dvivida. So basically the story is from Srimad Bhagavatam, which was written by Maharishi Vedavyasa and Shukadeva Goswami. So this is a chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam which might be unknown to some people. So today we will be looking at this story. Who is Dvivida? So Dvivida is a Vanara. Vanara is a combination of human and ape. So Vanara is basically a monkey like species which is intelligent. So Dvivida was from the Vanara species. He was very powerful and his size was very large. He was one of the secretaries of Vanara King Sugriva in Treta Yuga, that is. His brother was Mainda, who was also very powerful. He was a friend of Narakasura. Narakasura is the son of Bhuma Devi, hence why he is called Bhaumasura. He was a great fighter and warrior when he fought in the war of Ramayana. Yes, Dvivida was from Treta Yuga. As his friend Narakasura was killed by Lord Krishna, he was very angry. So basically, the reason why Dvivida was filled with vengeance is not only because Lord Krishna killed Narakasura. Since Dvivida was from Treta Yuga, so when Indrajit shot the Brahmastra on Lakshmana, even Dvivida was fighting. But Dvivida's mindset was that Lakshmana is such a weakling, he can't even protect himself. But I am very powerful, I am so dedicated to Rama that I am the best Vanara. Instead of Hanuman, I should be serving Lord Rama. So this pride came into Dvivida, which is why it caused his downfall. So in Dwapara Yuga, as his friend was killed by Krishna, he started creating nuisance around all of Krishna's provinces. He started polluting sacrificial grounds where rishis performed yajnas. He put villages on fire. He started uprooting trees and throwing them on houses and rishis' ashrams, which caused massive destruction. His power was such that he could tear apart mountains and throw big boulders with ease. He targeted the provinces where Lord Krishna was living. As Dwaraka is Lord Krishna's kingdom. It was situated in an island in the middle of the ocean, that is present-day Arabian Sea. So what he did is he went inside that ocean where Dwaraka was situated, and with his arms he was creating massive waves. He wanted to submerge Dwaraka and Lord Krishna, who is the Dwarakadish. Basically, his arms and his body had a strength of 10,000 elephants. When does Dvivida meet Balarama in this? So that's what we are going to look into in this slide. So one day, as usual, the Vanara was creating nuisance and he was destroying many houses and villages. Suddenly, he heard a divine melody or a singing from a mountain which was nearby. The mountain's name was Rai Vataka. So when he went to the mountain, he saw the commander-in-chief of Yaduvansh, who was none other than Balarama, right? Because Balarama belonged to Yaduvansh, and now that Dwaraka was created, he was the commander-in-chief of the army. So he was wearing a beautiful lotus garland around his neck. He was white in complexion. He looked very beautiful. He looked very handsome. So Balarama was with a group of gopis. He was enjoying and drinking a heavenly beverage called Varuni, which gave blissful and extreme happiness. It's like a divine drink. So he looked like he was glowing with divine rays. So what Dvivida did, he was very jealous. So he climbed up on a tree and started making sounds and creating intense disturbance and distractions to Balarama. So Dvivida started coming towards the gopis. Balarama was not angry yet, but Balarama is the last person you want to make angry. So Dvivida started coming towards the gopis and started giving, insulting gestures. And after seeing this, Balarama became very angry. So he thought he was just a normal wild animal and he what we would do, we would throw a stone at a dog. So Balarama threw a stone at him, but he was not an ordinary animal, right? So what he did, he caught the stone and snatched the pot of Varuni drink from Balarama, and he started, insulting him. So now Balarama was really angry. Let's see what happens next. So now that Dvivida was insulting Balarama and he was, insulting the gopis, in intense anger, Balarama took up his main weapons. So Balarama is also called Haladar. So he picked up his plow and his club. And after this, Dvivida was not scared. So he has his pride. So he gestured Balarama. So Balarama is the Sheshanag, or the bed of Lord Vishnu. So he gestured Balarama to fight him. So Dvivida now what he does is he takes up a big oak tree and basically he kept it as his weapon and he hit Balarama on the head. But Balarama wasn't hurt. In his name itself it says Balarama. So Balarama picked up his club. His club was named Sunanda. So he took up his Sunanda club and hit Dvivida on the head, and Dvivida's head started bleeding. So it looked like lava erupting from a volcano because Dvivida was so massive in size. So Dvivida picked up another tree and threw it at Balarama. And Balarama is like a child, like child's play, he broke the trees. So Dvivida threw this tree several times until the forest became bereft of trees. There was no trees in the forest. It looked like a desert now, basically. So Dvivida started picking up rocks, massive boulders, and he started throwing them at Balarama. But Balarama, with his, club, he started making them into small powder of stones and pebbles. So after no stones were left and no trees were left, he started using his fish to hit Balarama. So Balarama will not attack a weaponless enemy. So even Balarama kept his weapons down and started fighting with his fists and leg. So now, and they both were fighting very intensely because both were, equally strong as each other. Let's see what happens next. So the fight was going on very intensely, and Balarama was on the last straw of his anger. He was at the peak of his anger. So he gave a punch, he gave a blow on Dvivida's collarbone. Then Dvivida was vomiting blood and he fell to the ground. He attained moksha, he attained salvation. So when Dvivida fell to the ground, the whole forest, the whole Revataka mountain, it all shook because it was his massive size. So after Dvivida attained salvation, all the elements, the five elements, the sages, the saints, people, and demigods showered flowers upon Balarama, who stood gracefully, keeping his club on his shoulder and the plough on the ground, with a small grin. After this, Balarama returned to Dwaraka with great pomp and show, and he was praised continuously by everyone for giving them freedom from Dvivida, the monstrous gorilla. Thank you. Hare Krishna.